I think my favorite thing about Kenpachi is how he can so seriously look at a meteor falling from the sky that is set to obliterate and kill everyone other than Gremmy, because Gremmy's the one who made it and it basically is indestructible, or so it seems. And the man doesn't even hesitate. He thinks, okay, I can't cut you down, I'll just cut the meteor down. And he does it. He does it absolutely 100%. And at that point, you just have to walk out of this and say, this episode is built as different as the goddamn characters are. Because when you look at certain episodes from the Thousand Year Blood War with Korra 2, some episodes have been more refined than others. Not saying all the episodes haven't been at the very least good and very enjoyable, because they have. But when you look at an episode like As Not Last Week, that was the extra refinement, the psychological horror, the visions. It just felt like there was a bit of favoritism going on there with the production, and I was happy for it because I thought, damn, that's an amazing fight, it's an amazing character. But I am so happy to see that that same level of favoritism was given to Kenpachi versus our boy Gremmy here, because holy hell, what should be the most OP ability in most shows was made into, yes, an OP ability in Bleach, but not enough to stop the I am the edge greatness that is Kenpachi. And the only frightening thing is now knowing after last week that all these abilities, when they're killed, seemingly go to the Quincy King. What the hell is he gonna do with this type of ability when most likely he fights Ichigo? That is the question, and goddamn it, are the future cores gonna hit different? Full live reaction to today's wonderful Bleach episode is available on my Patreon if you would like to see that. It's over there if you're interested. This was a great episode. I think my favorite part about this episode is actually the red herring that they did. So we have this creepy old guy who basically, he's dropping the 3 rules. Like, I can erase my existence from you, I can erase where I am. Like, that should be an OP ability. And I'm actually, you know, because they start the episode off, I'm like, okay, this is pretty intense. And then they give us the opening. So I'm sitting there just pondering how they're going to deal with this. I was like, maybe he can only erase his existence for a couple of people. And no, it wasn't even the fight of the episode. Not even close. Gremmy comes in and just says, get the hell out of my town. And I'm like, what the... In any other show, this man would have been the fight for the episode, or at least half the episode. Like, yeah, he's some old man, but that's a pretty insane ability in any other show. And then Gremmy comes in, turns a girl's bone into cookies, and it just all goes from chaos from there. I mean, if you really wanted to get twisted with it, in theory, could he also have turned her bones into rattlesnakes? I mean, potentially, right? But the one thing I was actually surprised by is, like, when we have Kenpachi, like, cutting through steel, right? And it's a pretty big D move. The boy's like, oh, you know, he looks, because he goes to cut through his body, and then the steel stops him. And then right after that, he cuts through the steel like it's butter. And his shit talking is fantastic. He's like, listen, I just didn't know you were gonna do steel. I was basically powering up for cutting through a human body. Now that I know I have to cut through steel, sure, that's not a problem. I was surprised though that he didn't like make diamond or something. Like maybe he couldn't, but based on what we were seeing with his imagination, I'm pretty sure he could have made something as strong as diamond, which would have actually stopped Kenpachi, probably not, but it's something that, you know, there's certain moments I'm like, damn, I'm surprised he didn't try that. But at the same time, he does pull out like assault rifles or missiles or literally a apocalypse level nuclear blast of a meteor strike. So he definitely does go very hard when he does start going crazy. And I like the idea of just like someone finally having the thrill of battle versus someone who is always having the thrill of battle, and just how that kind of became his downfall was so cool. And it's very interesting because there's certain moments within this fight that you really don't see coming, like basically throwing him into space and watching like the oxygen just like his eyes kind of cave in and stuff. Very crazy shit, only for him to just shatter space and time and crawl through there. Like, yeah, that's just Kenpachi, bro. Kenny coming in just doing his own bullshit, and you love to see it. But I think my favorite thing about Kenpachi personally in this episode is how big D his energy truly is, because when you see him just the blade, man, like that is not someone compensating for a lack of something. No, this is someone who his big D is as impressive as that giant ass blade, because that is someone who just radiates power and authority. And the fact that we literally have, this isn't even the final battle, mind you. This is like midway through Core 2. We throw Kenpachi finally back into the anime, and what do? We have him fight someone who whatever he imagines becomes reality, and holy shit, like, you're duplicating yourself. You like anytime something should be a fatal wound, as long as you can focus in and say, I imagine that's not a fatal wound, he basically brushes it off. There's just insane moment after insane moment, and it's not just like, it's like basic bitch imagination either. Like, there's so many cool times, like when you initially like summon the stone, and it's like your stone coliseum here. You know, you capture him in a cube of water, and then you throw him between the crack, and then you just like smack that fool completely flat as a pancake, or what should be if you didn't have someone as built different as Kenpachi. And it was very cool watching this because, you know, over the course of it, you start with someone who seems like there's no real emotion there, you're just kind of going through the motions, but by the end, it's someone who just is having an absolute blast trying to kill someone, the same way Kenpachi feels every damn day he picks up that blade and gets to cut off an arm or a leg, or maybe a bit of both. And it's gonna be fun, but it is a little worrisome because, you know, when someone ends up dying, now that we know for sure that all those skills and abilities go to the Quincy King. Now, granted, when we destroy the imagination body, we have like a brain left over, so I don't know exactly where we're going with that, all things considered, but the idea that it almost feels like the way 1,000 Year Blood War is going is that we're going to kill all of them, right? We're going to make our way through slowly but surely all these crazy, whether it's an Asnod or it's someone like a Gremmy. We'll kill them all, and then the Quincy King's going to wake up from his little slumber with all these abilities, and it's going to be the worst fight ever for any of our heroes. And that's worrisome, but it's also quite exciting because you know that's going to make a lot of these battles probably seem very small in comparison. It's really impressive what they've been able to accomplish with what is normally seen as a long-running shonen anime. But by splitting these cores up into what is essentially a split core, but maybe Core 3 will come out in 3 months, maybe it'll come out in 9 months. We're like, they took their time and they let Core 2 cook. And seriously, I think whether if you look at last week's episode or even this week's episode, had this been a back-to-back 2-core or 3-core or 4-core, there's no way both of, whether it was last week or this week's episode, would be as refined as it is. One or the other might have looked as good as it currently is, and then the rest of the episodes would have been very inconsistent, a hit or a miss. But it really does feel like Bleach, you know, anyone who was waiting for this anime to truly come back for all these years, there's nothing you can really say deadass that you would truly wish it was different, because this is the best you could hope for. Like, they are going out with a bang and giving this their absolute all, and it's very fun to be able to say, and just, it makes you happy that you can say a show like Bleach came back because of passion, not because of a soulless cash grab or anything like that, because this is, it's fire, it's heat, it's continuing to be built different, and you know your boy's excited for more. But let me know what you thought down below, whether you've been waiting years to see this fight animated or it's your very first time seeing it at all. Let me know down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course ring that bell. As I mentioned, we do have that full live reaction available on my Patreon, and hey, while you're there, you'll also get a video shout out. So today we have Tamara Burt, Uzix, Gallon, Nolan Burke, Eds, and Harry Truscott. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.